Welcome to Cake on Tuesday, where we spotlight the rule breakers, the underdogs who refuse to listen when everyone said it won't work. I'm Elizabeth Bieniuk, and for the next 20 minutes, we're diving into another disruptive innovation story that proves sometimes the craziest ideas change everything. Today's guest is Ariana Smetana, a global leader with over 20 years' experience in big-name corporations like PwC, Continental Airlines, and Shell Oil. Ariana is the founder and CEO of Accel IQ Digital. She's been in the AI space since before it was a fad, and her firm specializes in bridging the gap between cutting-edge AI tech and practical business outcomes. Ariana, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Elizabeth. I'm really looking forward to talking to you today.
I'm excited for this chat, too. Can you start us off by telling our audience a little bit about what gets you passionate about what you're doing right now?
Well, it's, like you said, I started before it was even a fad. To me, it was really looking at solution for business problems. And it was started all with my own business, which I had at the time in 1990, and looking, how to get rid of this tedious, task that you sometimes need to do, especially in reporting and analysis of, your workflows. That was really the problem I started with. And then I was like, what do I need to know to solve this problem? And I dove into the digital transformation, kind of studying, analyzing that, learning about AI. And it was a light bulb moment for me to say, this is the path to solve the problems. And really, AI since then in 2020 onwards was my mission to learn and, build this technology to solve the business problems and enable companies to be more efficient and grow exponentially with this amazing tool.
So I'm curious to know, a lot of people I talk to have shifted in the last year or two to focus on AI, but you were focused in this space for 5 years now. What has the last couple of years shift been like for you as everybody's now scrambling to, how do I inject AI into my current workflows?
Well, it's really interesting to see that because, previously when I was talking about the capabilities and what it can AI bring to the companies and business, it was really a very distant idea. Now it's finally hitting home, especially as the, kind of ChatGPT bursted onto the scene and allowed people to play with that, do the hands-on experience, which was fabulous because that was really what was needed. And now it's really understanding how to make the best use cases for each business come to light. What is the, path to that? And that's where I come in and help them to make those, use cases work, produce a result and enable this AI working for the company.
What is something you wish all of your clients knew? If they're coming in to work with you and your company, what's something that would really help make engagements easier if you just said, I wish everybody knew this about my business or about this industry?
That's a, really big question. One is that to me, AI needs to augment human capabilities, not replace them. That is my kind of philosophy of the business and how I approach using AI for my business and for the companies I work with. So it is not a replacement. It's not how we're going to eliminate humans, how we're not going to have jobs in the future. That is not the philosophy I want to, lead with. So the products and solutions I work with and create is really in the sphere, how it's going to augment your work, how it's going to eliminate those tedious tasks you don't want to be doing, starting from, simple automation to really creating something novel, new insights in your business and getting you ahead where you want to be with your organization. So that is my philosophy. And I hope, everybody else who I talk to will come from that mindset. It's really the mindset shift.
Yeah, I think that's huge. I think mindset shift is such a big thing and that impacts so many different areas. I feel like that is very significant in the clients I talk to too, of just they approach it oftentimes from a place of lack or being behind, of I've got to catch up. And then it comes from almost from this point of fear. And then it's really hard to get into a positive engagement. I like the fact that you're talking about this is a helper. This is an accelerator. This is something to tap into your existing workflows. How do you help your clients go through that mindset shift?
Well, it is pretty much the conversation from the, stage of, due diligence, talking to a customer and bringing the knowledge of, how we're going to make this work for them, where they are today and understanding that, where they want to be. And then actually crafting that roadmap, crafting that path. So even though, we are a product company with AI, we don't also just give them a product and say, here it is, deal with it. It's really walking them through that path of, understanding this is where you are here. We can walk with you the path of, getting to the ROI and how fast can we prove it. So we have a kind of, success path, which is 30, 60, 90 to get there kind of, in partnership. It's not just, giving them the tool and leaving them on their own.
Yeah. Yeah. We talk a lot on Cake and Tuesday about culture and what it's like to be doing really hard things in innovative industries where you're dealing with uncharted waters a lot. And it's important to have fun and joy in the journey because we're always being surprised and discovering new things along the way. What's your favorite way, either personally or with your team and your company, to really make sure that you're finding joy in the journey?
Yeah, no, and that's a very good point because, this industry, and especially in AI, it's moving so extremely fast. Even, I have a great deal of, love and interest in, learning and being always on top of it. It's very hard and it's challenging and daunting to do that. So I can imagine that everybody else who is not in this field can feel the pressure. So in the team, of course, we are all very enthusiastic about it. So we like that. I have a distributed team and we, engage very often, through Slack and making sure that we always, when we engaging, virtually most of the time, that we talk about, personal life as well, that, we are not only about, technology and work, we are also, human beings who are developing something and enjoying this, journey together that we, going on. Engagements is
Yeah.
important.
Finding the balance between the two. Yeah. I think I've talked about this before, some of the podcasts of, I feel like I started my career being very compartmentalized of thinking like, well, this is my personal life and there's my business life and nary the twain shall meet. And realizing that that's just, first of all, a lot of people don't approach life that way or business that way. And I think now I'm a recovering compartmentalist in that I don't approach life that way anymore either. We don't check our humanity at the door. So I think finding that balance between the two, you spend so much time with the people you work with, you might as well enjoy the time, enjoy the journey.
Yeah, we all have life and we all have, some things that happen in life that we need to take care of. And, we need to find that balance. Even when the fast moving technology is trying to, not to give you that time.
Yeah, exactly. To that point, though, can you talk a little bit about, you spent a lot of time in very successful corporate careers working with some really big names and then shifted to being a business owner and setting the culture and driving your own team. Can you talk to us a little bit about some of the most surprising discoveries through that process, or maybe some of the things you liked the most or learned the most about yourself through that transition?
Well, it's certainly transition, for me happened, quite a long ago. So 2008, I actually left corporate world and I, in 2010 launched my new business. So that was a main shift then, but really understanding that you are not the business. That was, one thing, mindset shift. I needed to also, I needed to network, which, it was a mystical word at the time. And now, it's, my second business, I think, I scraped enough knees and, got enough bruises. So I have idea what to do better this time. And there is always lessons, building your team and creating this culture. And the world we live in is different. After COVID, I think we all have a different way of interacting virtually most of the time. And, engaging when we need to, in physical spaces, but it's really different flow than used to be always in the office, always in each other presence. There are pros and cons to all of that. I think finding that balance between work, life, and virtual spaces we are all in is important.
Yeah. Through that learning journey from your first company to your current company, how did your definition of success for yourself and for the company change?
That's actually a good question. I think I have a bigger dreams now.
Yeah.
So, you kind of, when you first step out of corporate, you really don't know what you are capable of. After you go through that journey and then you leap onto the second, business and journey, all of that, you suddenly realize, I can actually trust myself. I'm capable and I need to dream bigger and, get myself into that mindset that I can achieve those dreams. Sometimes, it's just own mindset that holds you back and kind of, playing
Yeah.
school.
So it's building the confidence along the way. I like that. Yeah, we go from playing small to playing on a bigger stage. That's really interesting. So to that point, what are some of your goals and ambitions for your current company and where you want to go?
Well, certainly, the ambitions are that we're going to soon launch a product which is AI native software that we're developing as a solution for, business problems. And the goal is really to be successful in solving the problems that we've seen with the companies, certainly starting from, data harmonization and management to actually getting the insights out of the data through breaking all of these silos that typically companies operate in and having these data and insights on demand through kind of interactive engagement through this AI platform that we develop, which are, natural language processing and all the other capabilities that we build. I think that is what we see that companies need, and we are really looking forward to launch that. So it is, big goals to be actually working with companies around the globe. We want to, certainly help start with mid-size and small companies to give them that power they need to grow. But then, scale as we see that, expanding into enterprise level software as well. So it's big dreams. Let myself kind of, dream big and build a company that can stand behind that.
And that's a big shift too, moving from the services side into the products. What about your engagements over the last several years that really led you on that journey to say it's time now to launch a product in this space?
Well, I think, the developing products now, it's becoming a lot more, easier, I would say. And I think when you in the service kind of space, you are limited on how far and how fast you can scale. And with product, you can serve more people and deliver that value so much better and faster. And that was the attraction for me to step into that possibility of delivering those services on the scale that can help a lot of companies.
Hmm. All right, I want to ask a different question. I know you spend some of your time speaking and educating in the AI space around data. What about that has kind of attracted you to doing more of that? Is it this point of your life of paying wisdom forward in your career? Is it part of you just see the natural complement with your business and how much you spend time educating with your clients? What has kind of shifted you into that more speaking and education role?
So it's, bit of both. I definitely want to demystify what, this latest technology can do for businesses. And not so much that, I'm educating them all on bells and whistles of the technology. It's really what it can do for the business. That is my primary thing. And it's also, demystifying this, fear of, oh, it's going to take over my job and it's going to really ruin the entire, world and all of the other ideas that are, floating around. I think it's just, educating people is important to me. And also, certainly, paying forward to get anybody who can benefit from this, get in their hands and get that benefit materialized for them.
Mm. So to that point, as you're educating some of your customers, what is maybe a good story or a light bulb moment that you went through with a customer when they really went from perhaps viewing AI as a scary thing that's going to take their job away to oh, this is opening up possibilities? Is there an example you can share with us without going into too much confidential detail about that light bulb moment with a customer?
Well, it's certainly in everybody's mind, it's, how can we have a cost savings, which AI as a technology can support. And, I think the light bulb moment for the company is that then they realize that not going to replace, it's going to augment. And they actually, when they start using the tool, and that's the process of, from the idea stage and kind of, developing this use case and then actually launching it, that you realize that you will still need people, maybe in a different way and in a different function, but they serve the function and now they have a capabilities which previously they didn't. So I think it's always a journey. It's the more we kind of, want to kind of experiment with it, get even simple tools like ChatGPT in our hands and explore it helps. And then working with, company like mine helps them to truly understand how that fits into the organization and can be helpful.
Hmm. So you talked a little bit about where you want to go with the company and what you want to do next. What about you personally? What are you most excited about of learning, discovering, accomplishing, giving back in this next season?
Oh, a lot, certainly. For me, it's,
Well, you said you're dreaming big, so what do those
yeah,
big dreams look like?
it's kind of, it's scary because those big dreams scare you as well. So,
That's how
kind
you
of,
know they're good, right?
that's right. And I kind of, learned that probably you need to be scared and still move forward and not let that fear hold you back. So I do that, one day at a time. It's not always all rosy and thinking that, it's all going to happen the way I think it will. But I
Yeah.
believe in that, it can, and then letting that, day by day flow and actually unfold the way it needs to be. And sometimes you see that actually I don't know, that teachers that, that something you didn't really know, the teacher comes your way. You just need to be observant enough to see that person who is coming. And sometimes even if it's a lesson you needed to learn, that may be a negative one, it's a lesson you needed to learn. So those things are really working. It's on my mindset. I went to a really excellent conference called Sell Well, which was about, learning that no is not a detrimental factor. And the faster you go through no's is actually leading you closer to your success. Because if you always kind of, looking for the easy yes, you will not really go for the hard no's, which you need to get to build those, resilience and determination to lead to, bigger dreams and accomplish them.
Ooh, I love that. I swear I didn't pay her for this, folks, either, but that is one of the chapters in Cake on Tuesday. Sometimes the best thing you can hear is no. I like that idea, though, of it can push you to the bigger things rather than settling for the easy yeses. Ooh, that's good. All right. So what are some of the bigger things you're going to go after rather than settling for the easy yeses? What are the things that you're maybe got the nose that you're like, all right, let's turn this around?
Yeah. Well, it certainly is, what scares me is, going and working with investors, which is, I love working with the customers because, I'm solving problems and delivering value. But working with investors was always kind of, a thing that I kind of not sure of, how to approach.
Yeah.
You want to have them as a partners in the journey, not necessarily only as a somebody who is there for getting results out of the company as fast as possible. So it's balancing who is the right fit for my company and my journey, and that is something that I need to stretch my own mindset to know how to approach
Yeah.
that.
We're always learning. I like that. Always students.
Always learning. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Ariana, do you have a favorite quote, mantra, a motivating something that kind of you rely on when the times are a little bit dark or when you feel a little stretched?
Well, I have a lot of mantras, like in the pop, people's feeds, or, in the morning I listen to different, kind of podcast and meditation. So that, but, I like, what Sarah Blakely posts on LinkedIn as well. And there was one that jumped on me. I'm just looking for it so I can, it was kind of, very simple. If you keep waiting around until you feel ready to do something, you will never do it. Feel the fear and uncertainty and the doubt, but do it anyway. So that kind of, motivates me to continue moving forward, moving on, and, even in the face of fear.
Love that. That's a good note to wrap on right there. All right, Ariana, where can people find you? Where can they learn more about your company, about you, about what's next?
Absolutely. The company website is Accel IQ Digital, and you can find a lot of information of all the things we've done with the company and our team as well. The product will be launching in October. We'll be launching soft pilots and soft launch. Stay attuned. It is called Accel Insight, the product itself, which is AI-based tool, specifically targeting financial professionals who are drowning in kind of manual data wrangling and reporting. And we kind of eliminating that data wrangling mess into something which is simplified, access to clean data, and then analyzing and generating insights through natural language processing and creating this reporting, simplicity that we want for businesses to have on their fingertips. The other sources, you can find me on LinkedIn. under Ariana Smetana. Yeah, I post very often, and you can read a lot of articles and thought leadership that I do. Like I said, I do speaking and podcasts as well. So I want to be helpful as much as, being mindful of, developing business and generating revenue as like any business need to.
Awesome. Ariana Smetana, everyone. Find her, follow her company, check out what she's up to latest. Thanks for coming. It was always so nice to chat with you. It's always great to talk to somebody who's innovating in this space.
Yes, to fellow innovator, pleasure to talk to you today.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for joining another Cake on Tuesday celebration of beautiful disruption. Please share it, review it, and find more innovative stories at podcast.cakeontuesday.com. I'm Elizabeth Bienyik. Be bold, stay curious. Now go have some cake.